And another speaker is Artem-Ter Minasyan. He is the managing director of the company Campus Property GBR.
Добрый день, Мария, здравствуйте.
Good afternoon, Maria, and all the participants
В Мюнхене.
of the webinar. My name is Artem-Ter Minasyan. I'm in Munich. I'm the managing director of Campus GBR. We are dealing with real estate, the entire range of services, including lease, and we have a lot of contacts and ties with our partners that are helping us, that can provide help in terms of immigration. We also support people that come from the Russian-speaking countries, from CIS, and we support them as they immigrate to Germany. I will necessarily say a few words about immigration, but today I'm going to talk about investing
Рассчитать ваш доход, когда вы
in
инвестируете.
Munich's real estate. How can you calculate your profits? And I will be using specific examples because our first policy is about using specific examples, as we don't like to make long-term forecasts, given the fact that it's very difficult to foresee the course of events in our day and age. I will try to briefly describe the strategy of investing in Munich's real estate. Hopefully many people will find this interesting and make it a decision to move over here. I will now share my presentation with you. I will use it to provide information, and then I'll happily answer your question. Can you see my presentation now? Yes, we can see your presentation. Just a few words I'd like to say about our firm. We have IT consulting. We actually are operating as a consulting company. We also have a medical segment to our company, but currently it is not very active because people have a difficult time coming to Germany as tourists for medical purposes. The rest of the company segments are operating as consulting companies. Campus Property, which is my company, is dealing with the residential real estate, rental of apartments, of land plots, etc. I've had 13 years of experience. I've been living in Munich for 22 years. I grew up here. Back in 2009, we incorporated our company. Now we're growing. The local policy. Initially, we decided not to dive very deeply into real estate, residential real estate outside of Munich, because I grew up here. I know this city very well. I have been working over in Berlin and Baden-Baden, but then I came back to Munich. So I know everything very well about real estate here. I believe that 50%, as far as 50%, if you get as far as 50 kilometers away from Munich, I will not, I believe I don't know about the real state of affairs there. We have the most expensive real estate. Also, we cooperate with all the Munich's developers. They are just a few of them. We have some firms that have been passing their business from generation to generation for 5-6 generations now, and I think that developers are borrowing loans from banks because the
процентов фиксированных на 10-15 лет. Вот. Мы работаем так же, что
We're talking about 2 or 2.5
приехали вы сюда,
mortgage rates for 15 years span. If you came here for as a migrant, you need to open up a bank account to actually transfer your funds, which you will necessarily need for your day-to-day life and to make your investments. We cooperate with Commerce Bank, with ICE Bank, and there are so many barriers right now and restrictions because of sanctions that are complicating the life of our clients and customers. So we're using our experience to help people
по самому
solve their issues. Munich is the third largest city in Germany. Back before the COVID-19, people had more space to enjoy. They had more time to walk around, whereas in the post-COVID period of time, people again are enjoying large cities, and the influx of population has increased again. We are going to become the second largest cities according to the forecast by the year 2040. That's the forecast of the Statistical Office of Germany. I don't know whether it will come true or not, but so far their forecasts have always come true. We are very conveniently situated. It only takes us 1 hour to reach Milano, Paris. It will take only just a couple of hours of driving to reach Croatia and the seashore or the Alps. The geographic location of our city is very convenient, which is also very important lately because we cannot deny, as we cannot deny the global warming phenomenon, we do not have this terrible blasting heat, which actually which bugged the rest of Europe, like Austria, France, and so on. We don't get to experience this kind of heat in Munich. Our temperature is usually below 30 degrees by Celsius, and for that reason, people the air conditioning units are not very popular here. Not because we are trying to economize on electric power, but because there is no such heat here. Whereas in the winter time, the temperature drops down to about -5 degrees by Celsius. And you can reach the mountainous slopes just by driving for about 1 hour time. Also, we have 8 DAX concerns based in Munich, such as Alliance, Siemens, Linde, the chemical factory of Munich, München Rück, BMW, of course. They're all based in Munich, and they pay a lot of taxes, and they have a lot of employees, which of course are very well paid and are paying taxes, and then they can afford having good real estate. Unemployment is 3%, whereas the unemployment in Germany is 6%. The purchasing power is 138%, whereas for Germany it's 100%. Bavaria is 105%. Well, as the capital city, Munich has the greatest number of highly paid employees, and the salaries are very high here. Back in 2020, we
недвижимости в Мюнхене. То есть опять снова был поставлен новый рекорд.
We hit another record back in 2021, which is 12 billion euros. And that's the new record. In 2020, the number of sales fell by 5%. And people back then did not know whether the development projects will be lagging behind. The sales were halted for a short
на 5%.
period of time. Then they caught up with the plans in 2021. They actually rose up again and almost catching up with pre-COVID exponents. Right now, everybody's expecting, everybody is waiting for the Ukrainian war to end up. We're visiting exhibitions for 5-6 times a year, and I've been traveling so much. And I can tell you that the annual growth trend, the annual 11 to 12% growth trend is still going on. The rates never fall down. The luxury segment caught up with the number of pre-crisis sales, which is very important also, because it means that people are not only purchasing apartments by way of investing to rent them out and to get passive revenues, but they also purchase real estate to reside in. People are coming back to the city, and of course, this is a type of investment too. But it would be more appropriate to say that you're actually purchasing real estate to reside in it. People are not afraid to invest in expensive real estate. Low interest rates on mortgages. Very recently, the mortgage rate was at the level of 0, and even it went negative. Right now, the mortgage interest rate is 0.5%, whereas it has been growing up lately and reached about 2%. Back in April, banks, of course, rapidly reacted to the Ukrainian crisis, to sanctions, and they increased the mortgage interest rates up to 3%. And of course, many people stopped borrowing mortgage funds, and as the banks now can see the further course of economic development, that the inflation right now has dropped down to 4.5%. It's very difficult to foresee things, and the banks, of course, also reacted to this and have increased the interest rates, whereas right now they put them back down to 2%. The real estate market is currently approaching Paris and London. The population in Munich is 1.5 million. We are not frightened by 17,000 euros per square meters per square meter. We live in the luxury sector of the city. and of course, spending if you have 15 to 17,000 euros per square meter, you can also buy something attractive over in Paris and London. I will tell you a little more about how interesting it is to get passive revenues, and you can also show your monthly or annual revenues, passive revenues to the immigration office, and your chances of getting the temporary or permanent residence and citizenship will increase. Excuse me for the quality of these pictures. I was just picturing this flat, this apartment with the parquet, high ceilings. This is the turnkey remodeling which is done here. This is the terrace up on top of the building. Here's the small schematics of the apartment. If you can see the entrance, the hallway to the right, you can see the bathroom. There is a laundry room to the left, a small guest room, and the, well, it's about 61 square meters. That's the area here. Back then it was you always have certain, in this particular case, the additional cost apartment price for 2 rooms, 61.8 square meters, is 399,900,000 euros, which means that you will have to pay 6,470 euros per square meter. The purchase tax is 3.5% in Bavaria, 13. This makes 13,996 euros altogether. The notary fee is 1.5%. That is 5,998 euros. This apartment was purchased by my client 5 years ago. Here is the building. There is a site which is called Immobilien Scout. This is the major site pertaining to the German real estate. That's the open portal used by almost all realtors and developers, and they also exhibit their projects there. Can you see my screen right now? This is the website. This is just for you to understand that the announcement is very relevant. It's very fresh. This is how the apartment is looking like in the same project. In 5 years down the road, this apartment the price will be 1,180,000. That was the price 1 month ago. Right now they are selling this apartment. Let me come back to this. Yes, indeed. Right now it is its price is 13,996 euros per 1 square meter. Here is another project, another apartment building that I'd like to show you. Here it is, 100. Well, you can see this square building. Its price is it's been this announcement. This apartment has been on sale for 2 months now, and these are the relevant projects that are currently sold. Let me provide you with a calculation with C 13,500 and 14,220 euros per square meter. So this one is cheaper, 13,500, but the client purchased it at 7,000, and they purchased it at 7,000 euros per square meter. That gave them 92% of increase in property value, which is 18.4% in property value increase per year. We are not going to sell this project now. Right now, the price has almost doubled, considering the increase in property value up to date. Let me show you another project, which is also very relevant. It was built 2 years ago. It was sold out 2 years ago. And I would recommend our clients to purchase apartments at the pre-sale stage, when these apartments are very cheap and you have the most of choice there. This is how the project is looking. The client had to pay about 10,000 euros per square meter 2 years ago. The same schematic is the same calculation can be seen here. You have the additional expenses. Real estate acquisition tax is 3.5% in Bavaria, making 17,430 euros. And now we can see that somebody has already posted this apartment on the internet. Here it is. You can see it now. 1,199,000. It was also posted about a month ago, meaning that it is still there. You can click on the link and see it for yourself. This is not a screenshot. There's a real announcement on the internet. 13,470 euros per square meter, whereas we purchased it at 10,343. The gains made 3,000 over 3,000 euros per year, or 15% per year. We have quite liquid projects. Our apartments are sold out within 2-3 months time, or you can actually retain it for a long time, and and people will want you to rent these apartments out to them. The developers, we don't have a lot of developers, I'd like to say once again. We have the Bavarian firms, and these developers are building these projects, implementing these construction projects using not only their own funds, but they also borrow funds from banks. Well, in brief, this was my presentation regarding real estate. If you have any questions to ask, I would gladly answer them regarding investments, and I can also help you out in terms of immigration. Yes, there are a couple of questions. Some of them you have answered already. Which is the current how does the interest rate increases impact the real estate market? The realistic real estate, if you're using credit funds, of course your returns, of course, will increase twice. Many Germans purchase they finance at the level of 90%. If you borrow large loans from the bank, if there is a 1 million apartment, for example, and you have taken 900,000 loan from the bank, of course, in that particular case is more sensitive, and it will impact the sales of those that have this but many people don't even they're not influenced by, they're not doing it this way. Germany is a very rich country. The tax rates can be minimized down to zero, and one way to do it would be through depreciation. You can always ask me questions and I'll help you out in terms of minimizing your tax payments. You will be able to apply for the residence permit, showing that you have already purchased an apartment to the immigration office, and that will increase your chances of getting the residence permit. But that's not having to purchase an apartment is not a part of the program. I understand. They're also talking about the inflation, making some forecasts for the inflation. You have already covered all of these issues. Well, Germans are very accurate. There is just a very few English-speaking markets. Germans are investing, for the most part, Germans are investing in real estate, and when inflation hits, of course, money lose if we get additional questions, then of course we will redirect them to you. Thank you very much. Your presentation was very inquisitive. Thank you very much.